Hey everybody, welcome back to Starfyre Gaming. I am Sir Joseph, and this is episode 17 of our Let's Play um, Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. We just finished Get down, get down. Had a cat issue. We just finished defending the tavern, and we are back in, and we're going to talk to Irabeth. Irabeth rubs her red and tired eyes. Any success? How's the city? The Tower of Estrad has been cleared of demons. Great. The places that where the places where the demons have gathered need to be cleared one by one. Then they won't be able to stab us in the back when we take on the Grey Garrison. Thank you for your service. Allow me to ask a few personal questions? Frowning a little, Irabeth nods. Please, but I must warn you, there are some things I don't have the right to discuss. Where are you from? I was born in Canabras. I grew up on a farm just outside it. But way but my way back home lay at the end of a long and winding road. It took me years of travel through foreign lands before I came to be where I always belong. How did you become a paladin? A bitter smile appears on the half-orc's face. I don't much like to remember it. Believe it or not, the story of how I become a paladin is also the story of how I failed to become a knight. My parents were crusaders. May their souls stand together in Iomedes' celestial army. When I was born, they retired from the war and started preparing me to continue their legacy. But my father was an orc. You'd be pressed to find a calmer, wiser, and more pious servant of the goddess than he. But still, all his life he was dogged by sideways looks and whispers. When I grew older and it was time for me to serve, I decided anywhere but Canabras. That was where my father had served loyally, and his only reward had been injustice. Besides the witch hunters, led by the honorable prelate Holrun, stalked the city with a heavy hand. Well, I hope my throat will last. Who knows what they have done to a strange girl with green skin? Instead, I went to a smirk that looks more like a painful grimace crosses her face. You can laugh if you want, but I was young and foolish. I chose Last Wall of all places. You can imagine how well I was accepted into a country that's been battling the orcs of Belkzen since its foundation. There were many like me, but we were all treated as second-class citizens. To the locals, my green skin was worse than leper scabs. Even my brothers in faith kept their distance. I took my vows, and the goddess granted me the powers of a paladin. But even then, not a single order would accept me into their ranks. I spent another 6 months knocking on doors before I realized the simple truth. I serve Iomede, not the people. I don't have to prostrate myself before them, so I left as a paladin, but not a knight. You hardly need me to tell you this. You know perfectly well what it's like for us. How did you come to join a knightly order? I left Last Wall and went traveling. The goddess guided me, and my path led me to where atrocities were happening. I often fought in exchange for gold, but never for unworthy aims, of course. I wandered the river kingdoms for a few years, killing monsters and tracking down criminals. Sometimes I thought I was just wasting time, that my true place was in Canabras, but I pushed those thoughts away. I didn't even want to think about going back. But in the end, divine providence had brought me to my senses. It happened in Timon. I was tracking a gang of bandits, which my employer suspected was a cover for Razmirian spies. I managed to find their lair, but inside I found something far more dangerous than spies, an unholy temple of Zon Kuthan. When I broke in there, the cultists were about to sacrifice someone, the person who was destined to become my wife, Anivia. But that's another story. After I cut down the cultists, I examined their papers and couldn't believe my eyes. A network of evil cults had spread through all of Avestan, including Mendev. Worse, the documents clearly showed that their allies, the Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth, had infested my native Canabras. They were even among the ranks of the Paladins. After that, delaying my homecoming would be tantamount to desertion. Luckily, I was no longer alone. Anivia was eager to destroy the cultists as I was. Anivia and I hurried to Canabras. We couldn't trust anyone. The papers indicated the cultists had infiltrated everything. Luckily, I had some experience in investigation, and my beloved, the half-orc smiles warmly, she knew her way around working locks, tailing people, and trading information with the city's bottom feeders. Soon we defeated, alas, not the whole Hydra, but a few of its heads. Do you know who turned out to be the leader of the cults? The commander of the Eagle Watch. Can you imagine? While Prelate Hulrun was chasing witches through the city, the enemy had infiltrated the very order responsible for internal security. The scandal reached the ears of the Queen. At first, she planned to disband the order in disgrace, but then she offered the command to me and put its salvation in my hands. Of course, there was one small catch. I wasn't a knight, but I was made commander just the same, skipping the usual progress through the ranks. How do the people of Canabras feel about your background? They tolerated it surprisingly well. I shouldn't have been so wary. Crusaders don't tend to be a prejudice as a rule. After all, heroes from all over the world, even from other continents, come here to fight the demons. Apparently, the people are only suspicious of full-blooded orcs. They were already many like me here, and we don't have any problems, though the locals do have their superstitions. Reading can be difficult at times. Mendev is as merciless as Lastwall. They just have a different set of victims. I keep seeing those same sideways looks and scowls, hearing the familiar whispers. But where once they used to whisper behind my back and point at me, now they whisper in my ear and point at someone else. It's so strange to be on the other side of humiliation, to wipe spit from your face, to suddenly be invited to change position and spit at someone else. You must have figured out by now that I'm talking about tieflings. It's true there are many of them among the cultists, and few among our crusaders, and our fighters do all they can to drive away those who would be our allies. People shun them, call them Arilu's spawn, or worse. And if they choose to be born like that, I believe it is quite a feat to rise against the call of one's blood and join the forces of good. Still, most only see them as enemies. I once saw a knight bleeding to death because he wouldn't let a tiefling priest touch his wound. Alas, I haven't been able to change this in all my time in Canabras. Tell me about Anivia. We met in Timon, and I was wandering aimlessly from one ordeal to another. We returned to Canabras together to expose the Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth. The day the Queen knighted me was the second happiest day of my life. The first was the day of our wedding. But Anivia isn't just my beloved. She's my staunchest ally. We share every victory and defeat. The best of me alive, thanks to her. The best of me is alive, thanks to her. Thank you for saving her back then. The day Canabras fell, before her return, the only thing giving me the strength to protect the defender's heart was the hope that I'd see her again. We are in your debt. Thank you for your answers. Irabeth nods without saying a word. Tell me about the Eagle Watch. It was a small order created to fight not only demons, but also the enemy within. To manipulate the purity of the paladin rank, or to maintain the purity of the paladin ranks, prevent heresy, and identify spies. and it failed miserably at that. The Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth infiltrated it and formed their nest within its ranks. After the Queen entrusted me with leading the order, Anivia and I practically built it from scratch. We got rid of deadweight, people who weren't committed. We organized ways to transmit messages and orders safely. We introduced reliable ciphers. We found tacit allies among the city, from crusader orders to street beggars. This was my personal crusade to purge the city of the Templars who had infested it, and I thought I was winning. I could feel it. We were so close to driving the cultists out of Canabras, but Irabeth frowns. It's hard to admit, but those successes didn't count for much once the demons entered the city. On the contrary, if it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be a headquarters at the Defender's Heart. The cultists would have served up the city on a platter to the demons. The lines on Irabeth's forehead soften. Yes, that's true. It's a good thing we achieved something. Thank you. I have to go. May Yamedi keep you safe. All right. Let's take a look at our journal. So we finished the stay of execution. All right. So we still need to find um, Ramian. I still don't want to kill him. I'm not a fan of old prelate Hull Run. We need to find and kill Kaelisa, the outcast. We have gathered some knights and some tieflings. It looks like we can gather more because this is red. We need to talk to the Storyteller. Aaron's Day of Strife. Talk to a priest at Defender's Heart. And these are later things we don't have to do necessarily right now. These are the ones that will are timed. Not even this one is timed. All right. All right, here's a Storyteller. I'm going to try to get the Storyteller out, hopefully without my throat going away. The blind elf looks better than he did in your last encounter. His clothes are clean and his pale face has some color. The elf turns to you and listens closely. Is that you, my savior? I recognized your footsteps, determined footsteps befitting a determined person. Allow me to thank you again for saving me. Please accept this humble gift as a token of my appreciation. The elf hands you a black ring with 2 scarlet runes on it. We'll have to look into that. But we've done talked to him. Irabeth has explained why you were looking for me. I warned the authorities of Canabras that the ward stone had been desecrated. They waved off my warnings and paid for their inaction. I have examined many ward stones, but only in the one guarding Canabras did I sense a flaw. I spot a corruption inside, a vulnerability the demons will surely use. They are able to spread the blight inside the wardstone, corrupt it, and make it their weapon. It frightens me to think what they're capable of. The wardstone must be destroyed. Who are you, and why did they let you examine the wardstones? The elf smiles faintly. I am the Storyteller, just an old elf, and a bit more. I am old even for an elf. I've seen many things and have been to many places. Not so long ago, I witnessed the making of a young kingdom in the Stolen Lands, led by a remarkable and promising individual. My advice on the complicated matter of conquering those lands proved useful to that leader. That's from the first game. Kingmaker. This is not uncommon for me. Some seek my advice or services, and I don't refuse. This is how I acquired my reputation as an old vagrant who's never hurt anyone, stayed out of other squabbles, but sometimes gave good advice. I had a few friends in Narasayan who vouched for my integrity. This is why my humble request to be allowed to see the wardstones was granted. I wished all of them, or excuse me, I visited all of them, but only found cause for alarm in Canabras. Do you wield some special magic power? Some instinct? The storyteller chuckles. Yes, to a certain extent, but it is more of a gift. I can see the past, stories that have happened. I touch an object, and shreds of its owner's memory are revealed to my mind. Their emotions, passions, and tragedies. I see visions like I am them, and their stories happen to me. This is my power. I've been roaming the world, gathering such stories for many thousands of years. One day, I will gather them all. So the pauses in between are me taking a drink to try to keep my throat um, working. What blight is concealed in the wardstone? I'm afraid I don't have the answer to your question. To understand the nature of this blight, we need to understand how the wardstone was created, and it is hidden from me. I can only guess. Have you heard of the Red Morning Massacre? A dreadful morning remembered with fear even by those not yet born at this time. A demoness called Minago invaded the city with a crowd of her followers and started to do what demons do best: kill and desecrate. They say they covered the wardstone with pieces of dead bodies, splashed it with blood from top to bottom. Could such an abomination darken the radiance of the gift of Iomede herself? The locals think this is impossible, but who knows? It was not the last attack. Many demon leaders brought their unholy forces here. Even the terrifying Balor Koram Koramzada. Their attacks were rebuffed, but they still reached their target. I think this is when the seed of corruption was planted in the stone. It wouldn't have grown on its own, but Discari himself has now come to take advantage of this weakness, to open the abscess that has been festering for years, unnoticed by the people of Canabras, and when the demon lord struck the blow, the weakened stone gave in. Now it's in demon hands, and nothing is stopping them from spreading the blight throughout the entire stone, and from it to the other stones along the whole perimeter of the world wound. Why did you travel to the wardstones? I tried to see their stories. The visions I had when I touched the wardstones were clear. I saw hundreds, maybe thousands of different stories at the same time. They followed each other like flashes of lightning. It was impossible to separate them. I couldn't understand them, or I couldn't understand where one of them ended and the next began. I have heard you, storyteller. In that case, you must make every possible effort to destroy the corruption. Unfortunately, I don't know where to get an instrument powerful enough to banish the wardstone. As far as I know, there is nothing like it in Canabras, but the demons might have something. We just finished that quest all right off the bat. I heard the dying roar of Terendelev, the silver dragon, the protector of the city. At the same time, I felt a wave of unfamiliar power sweep over me from head to toe. I would advise you to go where Terendelev perished and search there for something. I'm sorry, I can't be more specific. But intuition and a strange sense of righteousness or rightness tell me to point you there. Present the purple stone knife. I found it in the square where Terendelev perished. What do you make of it? The storyteller reaches out and says softly, even from here I can feel strange energies emanating from the object. If you don't mind, I will examine it, using my method. I will try to see the past of its owner. their emotions, and shreds of their memories. Maybe it will help us better understand what we are dealing with. The storyteller touches the knife, his fingers clamping around the hilt with a hungry, masterful grip. His face contorts into an evil grimace, his voice disgustingly raspy. Hunger, my many legs, bring me into the lair, to my mother's feasting hall. Her swollen body, overfilled with food, is so huge that I have to look at it with all of my eyes at once. On top of on top is her scrawny little head with a long beak that is always yearning for more food. You feel feverish, and your chest, where the mysterious wound is concealed, feels hot. Your mind is flooded with a wave of visions, visions that repeat the words of the old elf. Mother greets me with a placid screech. Stupid, greedy wretch, whose only achievement is my birth, a creeping, wingless creature. It is your fault I have no wings, a symbol of greatness, a birthstone I should have received from my mighty father. Mother points me to the crowd of whimpering subjects, suggesting I fortify myself with their pathetic flesh. Not today. I summon my spawn, and they fly to me, enveloping me in a teeming cloud. Like dark buzzing wings, they unfold behind my back and lift me up. Mother has always been stronger, but she did not expect this. I dive on her and rip her limp, bloated body with my claws. Ichor spatters. The bone spurs in my heels sink into her flesh. I clench her pitiful tiny head and tear it off along with the shreds of meat. Victory! I am the strongest. I am the son of my winged father. The elf grimaces with distaste. His voice becomes normal again. Appalling. Stories like that are the most difficult ones to keep with me. Demons truly know no love. Killing one's own mother? The storyteller opens his mouth to answer, but a sudden spasm crosses his face. A new vision, a much stronger one, engulfs the old elf. The malevolent undertones vanish from his voice, and it grows more determined and tired. Even looking at the wardstone is difficult. Despite the corruption nestling in it, it still has an aura of strength. Your fingers clench the stone's hilt so tight it hurts. A little spot on the flawless surface of the wardstone draws your attention. It looks like a butterfly, corruption in the guise of something utterly harmless. But it will grow. You swing and stab the butterfly with the knife as hard as you can. Your fingers cramp painfully. A howl invades your ears. White light everywhere. The stone knife falls from the old elf's hands. Out of breath, he drops to his knees. He is trembling. The terror on his face is unlike his usual dignified manner. What? What was that? That was not the past. That was something that has yet to happen, or rather, might happen. One of the roads of the future. In one of the possible futures, this item will help you cleanse the wardstone or destroy it. You feel a longing to take the stone chisel and plunge it into your chest, right into the wound that has opened up in it. It is hard to resist this feeling, but at that last moment your self-preservation instincts take over, and you manage to keep control of your hands. The old man stands up. He looks completely stunned. Never before has anything like this happened to me. But how? I am not an oracle or a prophet. No. Is this another riddle from the past that has caught up with me? I must find out. Seeing stories that have happened is one thing, but seeing stories that are not yet that have not blah, that are not yet to happen, I don't know why this is happening now. But there is one thing I am sure of. The This is not a coincidence. This is a sign of coming changes. Great great changes. I shared your vision, and this knife tempted me. Did you see what I saw? This has never happened before. Could it be the magic of the item that you brought me? I sense dark energies in it that can cloud and charm the mind. Be careful with this item. It may have tried to influence you, but you managed to overcome its power and subdue it. Or perhaps something else happened to us, something we don't yet understand. Can you see the future? I I don't know. Obviously I can, but nothing like this has ever happened to me before. The future never opened its secrets to me before I met you. Gods, who are you? And why have our paths crossed? I feel this is not a coincidence. Something mysterious is happening. Destiny is pushing us towards something. But what? Answers without questions. I swear, this morning I couldn't have imagined what awaited me. Maybe it's the knife that gives you powers of divination. This knife is a powerful artifact, but I feel that its power is of a different nature. No, I felt the same as I do when I tell the past. This is my gift, but manifested in a completely abnormal way. Is what you saw destined to happen? No, the future is not set. It used to be a long time ago when the god Aroden guarded Golorian, but not now. Prophecies do not come true, or they do, but not the way they were supposed to. I only saw one version of the future, one of the paths leading to it. But the choice has not been made, and our destinies are not yet set in stone. Who were you in your vision? I don't know. Someone strong and desperate enough to resort to extreme measures. I felt that what I was doing had to be done. Your powers are amazing. A few minutes ago, I would have agreed with you. But the thing that has happened, it disturbs me. My gift has never manifested like this. Something has changed, and these changes frighten me. All right, so we can talk a lot more. My throat is not feeling great. I don't think I can get through too much more of this conversation, so I'm going to say I have to go. We'll revisit him later. I wish you interesting adventures. All right. Erlon, Calicia, the Knights. Discuss the Grey Garrison attack plans with Irabeth. Well, let's go talk to Irabeth again. Though that's more talking. I'm hoping we can go out and do some more exploring of the city. Any success? How's the city? What's our strategy for the attack on the Grey Garrison? I shall lead the rest of my forces in a frontal assault. This will distract enough of the enemy enough to let you use the secret passage to reach the Wardstone. Destroy it before the demons turn Iomedes' gift into a weapon of the abyss. Most of the allies you found will join my forces, but you can expect a certain amount of support from them. The Order of the Flaming Lance counts among its members both violent, valiant knights and masters of the occult. We are about to test an experimental ritual they've developed. Should it all go according to plan, your party will have a serious advantage during the Battle of the Grey Garrison. In these dark times, the most unlikely allies join forces to fight a common foe. All tieflings are treated with prejudice in Canabras. let alone the smugglers and thieves of their kind. And yet they are on our side, and I will make sure their contribution is not forgotten after this victory. They'll be of little use in open combat, but they'll help you spot secret doors and warn you about traps. So this just says we're ready to attack. I don't think we're ready to attack, so I have to go. All right. So we can go. That's the last thing we'll do. Looks like we can probably get some more allies, maybe. We still haven't found Kylisa or this person. Let's go take a rest. We are beat up. Everybody's out of spell slots.
When you were little, you had the funniest little stubby horns. Did it hurt when they started growing?
Damn things itched like crazy.
Alrighty. There are dead demons in here now. The demons were killed recently, no doubt about that, but it's not clear if it happened here or if the bodies were brought in from elsewhere.
Let us be off.
Alright, let's go out to the city. Come on.
Let's move.
Alright, now let's see, we're going to take him off. I do like her, but I like her as well. We'll go ahead and go with the wizard lady as opposed to the shaman lady. Alright, so we got Defender's Heart stuff, we got the Market Square stuff. Looks like everything's in the Market Square. Kill Rymian is in the Market Square. Discuss Grey Garrison attack plan and Days of Strife. Which one's Days of Strife? Ah, this one here. So Kalicia, she's got to be somewhere. She must be in the gray, yeah, garrison there. Enemies.
Can we retreat already?
Oh wow, that guy's right there.
Forwards!
And that was his mistake.
We won't falter! Strike with all your might!
I'll cut you wide open!
Cover me, all right?
Good job, Blue. Alright. Heading on out. Let's see how close we are to leveling. Oh, what's that? About 750 points. There we go. The temple's probably where that person we're looking for is at. So let's head this way.
Follow me.
So remember correctly, this person was a Sarian priest, but evidently that is not where she's at, or he's at.
March on.
Let's see, that's out, that's the temple. Let's go up here.
Onwards.
And we're just looking for that person. I don't want to give up on potential XP, so
Let us be off.
I want to find this person, do whatever the quest is.
Pretty good, aren't I?
Let's move.
Because every XP counts with these games. You don't want to get to the final bit, not have enough XP to level up to where you should be leveled. Oh, looks like that's the edge.
Follow me.
All right. Let's go this way. Come on, mouse. Click on buttons.
March on.
I guess I can go the way up to this place. Ah, here we go. This is where I want to go.
Yet another obstacle.
The heck? Plague horses.
Stab you or zap you? Why not both?
You should have listened to reason.
Eh, that was disgusting. And there are plague horses, I guess that makes sense.
The Inheritor, guide my blade!
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
Distract them for me.
Onwards.
Fire was no accident. Looks like the work of a Grimrock. Yeah, we were here before. Those plague horses weren't there, so. Alright. Not in there. The search continues. Search this whole area. Guess we go back up here.
This is my kind of work.
Marketplace is a big place. A lot of places this person could be hiding.
We will be victorious.
Rat swarms. Swarms are a pain.
Time to share your treasures!
The spirits demand your blood!
The light, take you!
We can do it!
Mighty 1 point of damage.
You won't survive me.
Cover me, all right?
You are today's sacrifice!
Almost got him.
Into the fray!
There we go. These people were not killed by demons. Their mortal wounds were inflicted by ordinary weapons.
Let us be off.
Well, dang it, I was hoping that was going to be... where we found. We went in there. So we can do this part here. Check out that city. Or that city, that house. people were not killed by demons. Their mortal wounds were inflicted by ordinary weapons. Let's go into this house. Go to the cellar. Guard, the dive for the other weapons, thin layer of ice. Oh yeah, this was that kind of does damage to you constantly, so that's not where we wanted to go. Someone ripped lumps of flesh off of these bodies. Oh. Where are we going that we didn't go before? This way, okay. Demons!
I'm here.
Always be ready
Where
for
else
the
would I be?
worst. Endure We this. cannot be defeated.
I thought I'd done this spot, but I was wrong.
Mind over muscle.
The Inheritor, guide my blade.
Make every strike count.
Stab you or zap you? Why not both?
Wow, that guy went flying. True power
Go
attack.
for their hearts. I'll remove this obstacle.
No glory without risk.
Forwards! You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
Nice shot, mongrel. Oh, blue, you had, oh, you could have gotten him. That's
Distract them from me.
good shot, Woljiff.
I'll cut you wide open. You're irrelevant.
Into the fray.
We won't falter.
All right. All right, so we've been going about an hour here, so this is a good spot to stop. That way I can rest my voice for a better episode later. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. I've been Sir Joseph. You guys have been awesome. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. All that fun stuff. I do appreciate it. Till next time, do me a favor, stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you later.